"Sir, this ship doesn't allow tourists." The words came sharp from a young officer, pointing at the lone veteran standing at the base of the USS Horn's ramp. Around them, uniformed personnel boarded without a second glance. The man didn't argue, just took a step back. He was 62, weathered, silent. His eyes didn't just look at the ship, they studied it, traced the weld lines, the rust seams, the tension in the mooring cables. He saw problems no one else could, and no one realized they had just turned away the one man who could save them. Let's go back. Thomas Hollis lived by routine. He still woke up before the alarm, just like he did in the Navy. Same cold floor under his feet in a narrow Norfolk apartment. Same aging heater coughing more than it heated. In the kitchen, a worn Navy mug sat by the drip coffee machine waiting, like always. It was the only cup he'd used since leaving service. At 62. Thomas didn't have many people left. A few old shipmates called on birthdays. Mostly it was him, the sea, and a rhythm only he seemed to keep. He picked up odd mechanical jobs, patching up civilian boat engines. Just enough to get by. On his bookshelf, 3 things stood apart from the engineering manuals: a scale model of an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, a faded photo of him and his crew on deck in combat gear, a scratched metal plaque, USS Horn, the indomitable cruiser. Every Sunday, he polished that plaque, like it was still alive, like the ship still called him. One morning, something unusual caught his eye. A flyer posted at the shipyard. Authorized visits with clearance, USS Horn, Pier 7. The Horn, his ship, recommissioned as a tactical training vessel. That morning, Thomas took the bus. Walked 20 minutes through the cold breeze carrying rust and salt. When he saw her in the distance, the air caught in his lungs. She looked just as she did years ago. Gray, proud, tired, but still standing. He approached quietly, holding a piece of paper in his hand. Then the voice hit him. "Sir, this ship doesn't take tourists." They didn't ask questions, didn't check his name, just turned him away. Thomas didn't protest, just slipped the paper into his pocket and walked away. Another day, another missed chance. But this one would cost them. 2 days later, he was back. Watching. Same officers, same ship, same wind off the bay. But this time, Thomas noticed something different. A man in a white linen suit directing technicians toward an access panel. They looked unsure. Thomas stepped in. "Excuse me? That's the old thermal bypass. A direct line will overload the propulsion sensors." All heads turned, confused. "Do you work here?" one asked. "No," Thomas said plainly, "but I can help you work around it." Before they could respond, that same officer from before McConnell approached. "We've been through this, sir. This is a restricted area. Civilians can't hang around military operations." Thomas didn't flinch. "Just thought I could help avoid a mistake." He pointed again. "He's still using the original cooling system, or the backup?" McConnell didn't answer, just stared. "That's none of your concern. I need you to leave." Thomas nodded. No anger, just quiet disappointment as he walked away. One slow step at a time. The next day, disaster. During a routine simulation on board the Horn, the thermal system failed. 2 panels burned out. Emergency protocols kicked in. Training suspended. The official report: overload in the auxiliary sensors. Exactly what Thomas had warned about. Lieutenant McConnell was called in. "Why didn't your team catch this?" Admiral Hillard asked. "Sir, there was a civilian. He mentioned it. I didn't think what was his name." McConnell hesitated. He didn't know, but the Admiral did. He pulled up the archives. Chief Supervisor, Original Maintenance Systems. Thomas Hollis, a full record, 20 years. 3 tours aboard the Horn, commendations, crisis response, at sea. Get him back now. An hour later, McConnell found Thomas working quietly at a marina workshop. No uniform, just a wrench in hand and an old Navy cap on the table. "Mr. Hollis, could we talk?" Thomas looked up. Didn't speak, just nodded. At 3 p.m., he boarded the Horn once more. This time, no one stopped him. Admiral Hillard was waiting. "Mr. Hollis, welcome aboard." Thomas, cautious, replied, "I never meant to cause trouble." "You didn't," the Admiral said. "You were the only one who knew what was coming." McConnell stepped forward. "I misjudged you. I'm sorry." Thomas studied him, then nodded. You did what you thought was right, Lieutenant. In the control room, the issue was still unresolved. The engineers had replaced parts, but the readings were off. Thomas placed a hand on the panel. This isn't original. You spliced the model. The insulation's weak. It'll fail again. At sea then. He laid out the fix. Bypass the faulty board. Isolate the autothermal relay. Recalibrate the sensors manually. He didn't need schematics. He was the schematic. By nightfall, the system was stable in the debrief. Admiral Hillard closed with one line. Most of you learn from manuals. Mr. Hollis learned during storms, when lives depended on what he knew. A week later, the Horn completed its first emergency simulation. Flawless. No failures. No shutdowns. In the final report, Admiral Hillard added a handwritten note. Mission success credited in large part to the expertise of Thomas Hollis. That paper was hand-delivered to Thomas at the marina. He didn't say a word, just folded it and slipped it into an old envelope filled with photographs and sea-stained memories. The next morning, the Horn was ready to set sail. Thomas arrived early. No orders, no uniform, just an old Navy cap. From the deck, McConnell spotted him and walked down. You came to say goodbye. Wouldn't miss it. They stood in silence as final checks wrapped. McConnell looked at him. You could have come with us? The crew wanted you aboard. I already did, Thomas said, his voice steady. A long time ago. Now it's your turn. The engines roared. The lines released. The Horn drifted forward. Reborn. Thomas stood alone at the pier, fingers pressed to his cap and a silent salute. As the ship faded into the horizon, he didn't move, because a part of him was sailing with it. If this story moved you, like, subscribe, and join us for more untold heroes, lost legacies, and the power of second chances.